Yeah. So we were talking about what needs to be understood.
इसको भले प्रकार से समझने की आवश्यकता इसी आधार पर शायद है, यदि इस धरती पर मानव परंपरा यदि रहना है तो उसके लिए कैसा करवट लिया जाए, उसके लिए ये पूरा प्रस्ताव है। और कोई हमारा कोई आशय नहीं।
So how can the human tradition last on this planet? That is what this entire proposal is meant for. There is no other meaning.
ये पूरा प्रस्ताव है। और कोई हमारा कोई आशय नहीं।
There is no other intent behind setting forth this proposal.
इतने ही भर आशय बनता है। तो इसके पूरा जीवन जो भटकाव का आधार क्या बनी बताया। भ्रमित होने का आधार हम संवेदनशीलता विधि से हम सारा निर्णय लिए।
So what is the basis we discussed for losing our way, for the human tradition to get lost on our way? The basis that we discussed was taking decisions based on sensitivity.
तो इसका आधार हम संवेदनशीलता विधि से हम सारा निर्णय लिए। ये संवेदनशील विधि से निर्णय लेकर जीने वाला बात पशु संसार में संपन्न हो चुकी है।
This decision making based on sensitivity has already been completed within the animal world.
इसको भले प्रकार से आप जानते ही होंगे, नहीं जानते होंगे तो यदि कोई ऐसा परिस्थिति आता है उसको हम अध्ययन कराएंगे।
I think we hadn't covered this. I will go further back.
कोई हमारा कोई आशय नहीं। निर्वाह करना बनी जाती है जानने मानने के अभाव में। जानना मानना क्या चीज होता है? प्रयोजनों को जानना मानना।
हाँ, this we had done. So we were talking about what has to be understood. The Jeevan and existence and humane conduct needs to be understood. The Jeevan needs to be understood in terms of authenticity and experience, and existence needs to be understood as coexistence, and humane conduct needs to be understood in terms of values and evaluation. And that is because relationships are naturally inherent to existence, and all we need to do is to understand them, accept them, and therefore recognize and respond accordingly. And now when we go about understanding, he's talking about this now. What do we understand? We understand the purposes of things.
प्रयोजनों को जानने मानने की जगह में हम रिक्त होने के फलस्वरूप पहचानने निर्वाह करने में भी हमारा भट्टा बैठ गया।
So due to our lacuna in understanding and acceptance, we have come to a standstill, or we have come to a halt even in the areas of recognition and response. So this bhatta baith gaya, I researched later on, it is referring to the brick kiln and that collapsing and shutting down. So basically our brick kiln collapsing is a way of saying that our way forward is basically we can't see any way forward and our systems are collapsing. So this is what has led to a system collapse.
जैसा धरती की संबंध को पहचानने में हम चूक गए और धरती का प्रयोजन को समझने में हम चूक गए।
For instance, we have missed understanding the relationship with the planet, and we have missed understanding the purpose of the planet.
ये ज्वलंत उदाहरण है। और पर्यावरण
This is a pressing example.
को हम समझने में चूक गए, पर्यावरण के प्रयोजनों को हम समझने में चूक गए।
And we have missed understanding the environment, and we have missed understanding the purpose of the environment.
उसी से अपना भट्टा बैठी हुई है। ये मानव जाति की भट्टा बैठ गई है, इसको भले प्रकार से समझने की।
And that is why our systems have collapsed. It is because of this that the systems of humankind have come to a standstill. This is something we must understand very thoroughly.
आवश्यकता इसी आधार पर शायद है, यदि इस धरती पर मानव परंपरा यदि रहना है तो उसके लिए कैसा करवट लिया जाए, उसके लिए ये पूरा प्रस्ताव है।
And it is for this, in order to understand how humankind must move forward and in which direction humankind must move forward, that I have put forth this proposal. And it is for no other, the setting forth this proposal is with no other intent but this.
और कोई हमारा कोई आशय नहीं है, इतने ही भर आशय बनता है।
This is all the intent that we can summarize.
तो इसके पूरा जीवन जो भटकाव का आधार क्या बनी बताया, भ्रमित होने का आधार, हम संवेदनशीलता विधि से हम सारा निर्णय लिए।
Right, so this we had covered, that the reason behind our getting lost or losing our way is because of our sensitivity oriented or sensation oriented decision making, which was already completed, which is the peak of which has already been achieved basically in the animal world.
ये संवेदनशील विधि से निर्णय लेकर जीने वाला बात पशु संसार में संपन्न हो चुकी है। इसको भले प्रकार से जानते ही होंगे, नहीं जानते होंगे तो यदि कोई ऐसा परिस्थिति आता है उसको हम अध्ययन कराएं।
This is something we must already be aware of, and if we are not aware of, then when the situation or circumstance arises, I can help you study the same in the animal world.
इसको हम भले प्रकार से जानता हूँ।
This is something I know very well.
ठीक है, और मनुष्य संवेदनशीलता के सीमा में जीने जाता है, मनुष्य को तृप्ति मिलती नहीं है।
So when humans go about trying to live within the limits of sensitivity, we find ourselves to not be fulfilled. We do not find any fulfillment.
अतृप्त आदमी जो करना है वो सब कर ही देता है।
And an unfulfilled person does whatever he has to do, whatever he must do.
वही किया है अभी तक। अतृप्ति विधि से तो हम सारा कुछ कर्म में कर डाला।
And that is what they have done up till now. That is exactly what has been done up till now. It has been through this unfulfillment that we have done all that we have done up till this date.
वो अतृप्ति विधि से और भी जो करना है कर डालेंगे।
And with this unfulfilled way, we will continue to do whatever we must end up doing.
उसको कौन रोकेगा? वो अतृप्त विधि को तृप्त विधि में लाने की काम है।
Who is going to stop that? So the work is all about turning this unfulfilled way to a way of fulfillment. This is just to draw attention to the fact that he's saying how we function is stemming out of either unfulfillment or fulfillment. He's not saying work towards fulfillment. He's saying work on the basis of fulfillment rather than working on the basis of unfulfillment. So going back to सुखी होके करना, ना कि सुखी होने के लिए करना. So, or which is to do with happiness rather than doing for happiness. So first we need happiness so that everything else that we do will be done from that state of mind, from that state of fulfillment.
इसी को हम दूसरी भाषा कह रहे हैं जागृति। तृप्ति कहाँ से आता है भाई? तृप्ति जो है समझदारी का मतलब।
It is this that we are giving another language when we say awakening. So where is this fulfillment coming from? Fulfillment comes from nothing but understanding.
तृप्ति कहाँ से आता है भाई? तृप्ति जो है समझदारी का मतलब होता है जानना, मानना, पहचानना, निर्वाह करना।
And understanding means knowing, accepting, recognizing and responding. So yeah, under samajhdari there is one word samajhdari and there is janna, and I was using them interchangeably to make it clear here. I guess janna means to know, to really know for yourself. And understanding comprises all of these: knowing, accepting, recognizing and responding.
इसके तृप्ति इन का मतलब होता है जानना, मानना, पहचानना, निर्वाह करना। इसके तृप्ति इन
understanding means knowing, accepting, recognizing and responding, and the fulfillment that comes out of it.
इन चारों के परस्परता में जो तृप्ति बिंदु है, यही तृप्ति का स्रोत है.
So it is the point of fulfillment that is reached in the vicinity of the four of these, when all four of these are at hand. That is what the source of fulfillment is, because these are the things. So there's a, anyway, he might elaborate. If he doesn't, then I'll go back to it.
ये नित्य स्रोत है.
Huh?
You want to say again, Abhi, what you said, no? You said something reference from not for fulfillment, but through fulfillment. Can you just say that again, what you just said?
So when we see, we're working and behaving all day, all night, every day, right? But what is the source of our work? What is the state out of which our work and actions and behavior is arising? That state out of which it is arising can be a state of fulfillment, or it can be a state of unfulfillment. So currently, we are all we all experience a state of unfulfillment. That is something we can check within ourselves. So naturally, if I'm feeling unfulfilled, how can my behavior and work be something which is very harmonious and wholesome, right? So when I am agitated, what will I spread? I will spread agitation. We will only be able to spread through our action and our behavior what we already have within us. So what he is saying is that up till now, we have been unfulfilled, and so all our actions and all our basically all the stuff that we have created in our environment, all the crises, are nothing but the result of our acting from a position of unfulfillment, from a place of unfulfillment. And that is what needs to be changed. We have to go from acting from a place of unfulfillment to acting from a place of fulfillment. So we need to first be fulfilled. Only then will any of our actions or any of our behavior be holistic and healthy and complementary and harmonious. And how do we reach that state of fulfillment? He's saying fulfillment can only be reached through understanding, through awakening, because fulfillment is nothing but the fulfillment of these four things: our fulfillment in knowing, fulfillment in accepting, fulfillment in recognizing, and fulfillment in responding. So that these four fulfillments together are what make up human fulfillment. So that is what we have to reach, so that then all our actions, all our work, all our behavior becomes harmonious.
Understood. Fair.
यही तृप्ति का स्रोत है, यह नित्य स्रोत है.
So this is the source of fulfillment. This is the eternal source.
Just say it again. I know you said it very often. Knowing, accepting,
recognizing, and responding. So you know something, you accepted it. That means it's in your, sorry, I was going to give a computer analogy, like it's in your random access memory. So you know something, and on the basis of that, that is coloring your perspective, right? So now you're looking out with that perspective. That is what is meant by accepting it. कि अब आपका your देखने का नजरिया, your perspective itself has turned into that. That is what acceptance is. And then you go about, now what happens? Now you recognize. So if you understand relationships, you've accepted relationships. Now when you look around yourself, you'll start seeing relationships. You'll start recognizing relationships, right? And when you recognize the relationship, you will naturally respond to it. So Abhi, we are doing some sort of recognition and response, but it is not coming from a very holistic perspective. Therefore, there are constant contradictions. There are constant things that are tugging at each other. But when we have a holistic perspective, which is stemming from a holistic understanding, then we are able to recognize things in a way that become very evidently non-contradictory, become very evidently complementary and harmonious. And so we are also able to respond in that non-contradictory and harmonious way. So knowing, acceptance, recognition, and response.
Thank you. I wanted to say something. Drishta asked, Drishta, I think she wanted to know the two words, not for fulfillment, but from
From.
fulfillment.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. For and from. Good.
Yeah.
That was
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
दूसरे दिन मिट जाएगा, ऐसा स्रोत है, ये नित्य स्रोत है। एक दिन रहेगा, दूसरे दिन मिट जाएगा, ऐसा भी नहीं है।
So this is the eternal source of fulfillment. It is not as though it will be there one day and then the other day it will vanish.
ये निरंतर स्रोत है। क्यों निरंतर स्रोत है?
It is a constant source. How is it a constant source?
जीवन नित्य है, जीवन तो कभी मिटता ही नहीं है।
Because the Jeevan is eternal. The Jeevan is never going to vanish.
जीवन में यदि समझदारी आता है, तृप्ति भी समझ निरंतर रहेगी। तो जीवन में समझदारी नहीं आती है, तृप्ति भी नहीं रहेगी।
So when there is understanding in the Jeevan, therefore the understanding will also remain constantly. If there is no understanding in the Jeevan, then when there is understanding in the Jeevan, therefore fulfillment will also remain there constantly. And if there is no understanding in the Jeevan, then naturally there will be no fulfillment either.
निरंतर रहेगी, तो जीवन में समझदारी नहीं आती है, तृप्ति भी नहीं रहेगी। बस इतनी ही बात है, छोटी सी बात है।
That is all it is, this little thing.
वो समझदारी भी एक बहुत दूरता की जैसा मुझको नहीं लगता है, यह जरूर रही।
And even understanding is not something that I see as something very difficult.
समझदारी भी एक बहुत दूरता की जैसा मुझको नहीं लगता है, यह जरूर रही। परंपरा में ना होने से मनुष्य के लिए हर व्यक्ति को अनुसंधानित करने का समय और साहस, ये दोनों जुड़ नहीं पाती थी, ऐसा मैं सोचना है।
It is certainly true that because it didn't exist in tradition, therefore not every person was capable of gathering the courage to, discover it for the first time, or explore and discover it for the first time. That is certainly true.
समय और साहस,
Sorry, the courage and the time.
ये दोनों जुड़ नहीं पाती थी, ऐसा मैं सोचना है। क्योंकि हमारे परिवार में बहुत सारे लोग विद्वान, क्योंकि अनुसंधान के लिए तुले नहीं हैं। ये
Because in my own family, there have been so many scholars who never dedicated themselves for such a discovery, for such an exploration.
सभी बातें हम देख चुका हूँ। इस आधार पर जहाँ तक कि एक प्रस्ताव आने की देरी थी, वो शायद है पूरा हो गया है।
So all this I have seen for myself, and on this basis, the time, so this wait for a proposal, for the arrival of a proposal. Sorry, let me just hear it.
प्रस्ताव आने की देरी थी, वो शायद है पूरा हो गया है, या इससे अच्छा प्रस्ताव कहीं से मिलता है तो उसको भी देखा जाए।
So in this way, the wait for a proposal is now over, and although if there is another better proposal than this that is available, that must also be checked out, that must be looked at.
में कोई मैंने एकाधिकार की बात होती नहीं है। समझदारी सर्वमानव का अधिकार है।
This is not something of ekadhikar. Ekadhikar is like some individual exclusive. Yeah, this is not a matter of exclusivity. Understanding is the right of all of humankind.
और हर व्यक्ति इसका अनुसंधान कर सकता है, इसमें अपना योगदान दे ही सकता है।
And each individual can inquire into this, explore this, and discover this, and also provide their contribution to this.
ऐसा मेरा सोचना है।
This is how I see it.
यह हुआ समझदारी की आवश्यकता है, इस पक्ष पर थोड़ा सा ध्यान दिलाने के लिए कोशिश किया।
So this has been my attempt at drawing attention to the need for understanding. I have tried to draw attention to the need for understanding.
ये अनुनय विनय जहाँ तक आप लोगों को माने स्वीकार होता है, नहीं स्वीकार होता है, तो आप ही निर्णय करेंगे।
ये अनुनय विनय I'm not sure. It means basically some sort of request. This request and something unknown. Oh, it would be this entreaty. I think anuna is entreaty and vinay is petition. Basically, this sort of request or petition, as far as it'll be your generosity as far as you can accept it.
आप लोगों को माने स्वीकार होता है, नहीं स्वीकार होता है तो आप ही निर्णय करेंगे.
Whether you accept it or you don't accept it, accept this request or petition, that is your decision.
सब सही होगा, जो भावी क्षणों के लिए जरूरत होगा वही होगा, ऐसा मैं सोच के चल रहा हूँ.
It will all be fine. Whatever is necessary for the future, that is what will happen. That is how I imagine it will go forward.
तो मनुष्य अपने भावी क्षणों को निर्मित करता है.
It is only humans. It is but humans who create their future. Yeah.
इसके आगे और एक ध्यान आकर्षण, मनुष्य ही अपने भावी क्षणों का निर्माता है.
This is one other thing to pay attention to, that humans are themselves the creators of their future.
इसको हम ऐसा देखे हैं, हम जैसा घर बनाते हैं वैसे ही घर में हम आवास करते हैं.
I have seen this in this way, that the kind of house we build is the very house that we live in, that we end up living in.
घर गिरने की जैसा रहता है, हम एक दिन भले अच्छे दिन में उसी घर गिर करके हम दब के पूरा हो जाते हैं.
If the house is the kind that will fall apart, then one day in that very house we also the house will fall apart and we will also be buried underneath the rubble.
ये भी होता है. यदि अच्छा घर बनाए रहते हैं, उसमें बढ़िया ढंग से बच्चे बड़े सभी कोई जीते हुए भी और खुशहाली मनाता हुए भी देखा गया है.
If we build a strong, a good house, then we see that in that, whether they are children, old or young, they are able to live there with great happiness and comfort. That has also been seen.
ये दोनों चीज देखे हैं और इसी विधि से हमारा जो आवास बनाने का विधि है, अग्रिम भविष्य का आधार हमारा बनावट में ही है.
So we have seen both these facts, and in the same way, our manner of building our house determines our future life. अग्रिम जीने का विधि
है, अग्रिम भविष्य का आधार हमारा बना.
So the way we build our house also determines it is also the basis for our upcoming future.
बनावट में ही.
So let me phrase this one. Our upcoming future is also decided on the basis of how we have built the house, of the structure of our house.
इसी प्रकार कपड़ा बनाते हैं, इसी प्रकार आहार पैदा करते हैं. आहार पैदा करने में क्या है? आहार.
In the same way we make clothes. In the same way we produce food.
आहार के लिए ये व्यवस्था प्रकृति सहज है. ये प्राण कोशाएं जितने भी जो बन जाते हैं.
What happens in producing food? This process is natural, that it is the biological cells that produce that are the producers of food.
जितने भी जो बन जाते हैं वो सब मिट्टी में जब मिलते हैं ये उर्वरक कहलाते हैं. प्राण कोशाएं जितने भी पैदा करते हैं. आहार पैदा करने में क्या है? आहार के लिए ये व्यवस्था प्रकृति सहज है, ये प्राण कोशाएं जितने भी जो बन जाते हैं वो सब मिट्टी में जब मिलते हैं ये उर्वरक कहलाते हैं।
So what happens in food production is that this process of food production is also very natural, that all the biological cells that remain, when they go back into the soil, when they become one with the soil once again, that soil is considered fertile.
प्राकृतिक रूप में उर्वरक वस्तु यही है।
So this is what fertility is in its natural form.
प्राण कोशाएं बनते हैं और प्राण कोशाओं से रचनाएं होते हैं, वो रचनाएं पुनः विरचित होकर मिट्टी में मिलता है, उसका
Which is that there are biological cells, there are compositions made up of these biological cells, and when these biological cells decompose, they go back into the soil and make it fertile.
वो रचनाएं पुनः विरचित होकर मिट्टी में मिलता है, उसका नाम है क्या चीज? उर्वरक।
So when these biological cells go back into the soil, that is given the name, what is it? Fertility.
धरती में जितना उर्वरकता की आवश्यकता है वो सब स्थापित होने के बाद ही मनुष्य को इस धरती पर अवतरण होने का अवसर मिला। मनुष्य जब से
So all the fertility that was required on this earth, only after it was established was did humans get the opportunity to appear on this planet.
अवतरण होने का अवसर मिला। मनुष्य जब से पैदा हुआ तब से जंगल पर टूट पड़ा।
But ever since humans arose, they attacked the forests.
जंगल पर टूटते 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 विज्ञान युग आया तो खनिज पर टूट पड़ा।
And after attacking the forest and attacking, when the scientific age emerged, they began to attack the minerals.
खनिज और वनस्पति दोनों जब अपने अनानुपाती विधि से शोषण होने के फलस्वरूप धरती में उर्वरकता की जो स्रोत थी वो कम हो गई।
And upon the exploitation of these minerals and forests in a ratio, in an unnatural ratio, or to unnatural proportions. So upon exploiting our mineral and forest resources to unnatural proportions, when the fertility of our land diminished,
अब उसके लिए पुनः शुरू किए और कोई विधि से, तो समुद्र की सारा नमक ले जा।
Now for that they began to start reappraising how to fix that, and in doing that we have gone about bringing all the salts from the ocean.
शुरू किए और कोई विधि से, तो समुद्र की सारा नमक ले।
When we tried to address that in some other way, then we brought all the salt from the seas
ले जाकर के धरती पर बिछाने की जुगाड़ सोचा,
and began to think of ways to spread that salt over the land.
वो ये रासायनिक उर्वरकता की मूल तत्व है।
This is the fundamental मूल तत्व, are the basic principles of chemical fertilization.
और दूसरा आम्ल, क्षार और आम्ल।
And then there is the second is acids and bases.
दो पर आधारित जितने भी रासायनिक खाद को बताते हैं, और इसमें से इसको संतुलित बनाए रखने के लिए बहुत बड़े लोगों को तैयार कर रखते हैं।
On the basis of these, इन दो के आधार पर क्या?
पर
बहुत
आधारित
सारे लोग
जितने भी
हाँ,
go let's hear again.
रासायनिक खाद को बताते हैं। दो पर आधारित जितने भी रासायनिक खाद को बताते हैं।
okay. Whatever chemical fertilizers that they talk about on the basis of these two, acids and bases.
और इसमें से इसको संतुलित बनाए रखने के लिए बहुत बड़े लोगों को तैयार कर रखते हैं, पाल रखते हैं।
And in order to keep the two of these balanced, they, they what adopt, no, they raise or they, क्या पालना को क्या कहेंगे? They cultivate essentially several great people who basically are supposed to just manage the balance of this acidity and alkalinity.
उससे हम सब संसार को कल्याण कर रहे हैं, ऐसा सोचते हैं।
And on the basis of this, we feel like we're doing some great good for this world. They feel.
इस विधा में हमारा सोचना ऐसे रहे तो प्राकृतिक रूप में जो व्यवस्था है, जो वनस्पति जन्य जितने भी खाद है, उसी से यह धरती बच सकती है।
And regarding this, my thinking goes that whatever natural prakrit vidha mein jitne bhi jo, whatever natural, let me just,
वनस्पति जन्य जितने भी खाद है,
whatever natural खाद के लिए तो fertilizer ही होता है ना in English. Like,
Yeah, fertilizer
word.
is chemical and natural fertilizer. So it is khad is natural fertilizer.
Yeah. Whereas in Hindi, हाँ नहीं same here. So yeah, so whatever natural fertilizers that exist, that emerge out of natural biological processes,
जो व्यवस्था है, जो वनस्पति जन्य जितने भी खाद है, उसी से यह धरती बच सकती है।
the kind of fertilizers that emerge out of plants themselves, that is the only way that can help save this planet.
धरती की मैंने सतह में जिस चीज की जरूरत नहीं है, उसको समुद्र में ले जा करके वो अपना दे देता है।
So whatever is not needed on the surface of the earth, it takes it to the oceans and gives it away over there, deposits
समुद्र
it,
उसको बनाए रखता है।
and the oceans maintain it. Oh, he's talking about the natural system. Natural systems are such that whatever is not needed on the surface of this planet to keep it fertile gets deposited into the oceans and gets kind of stored over there.
सारा क्षार, जो क्षार जरूरत नहीं धरती के सरफेस में, और उसको समुद्र में ले जा करके छोड़।
All the alkalines that are not needed on the surface of this planet get carried into the ocean where they are maintained, where they are stored.
छोड़ना होता है। और वो कब कैसे उसका संतुलन कैसे बनी? वो वृक्षों से, झाड़ से, वनस्पतियों की जो धरती की सतह में जो सघन रूप में रहने की स्थिति में है, ये सब चीजें संतुलित रही।
And how did this balance form? How did this balance emerge on the planet? That happened thanks to the same, these plants, these shrubs, these trees that are found on the surface of the earth. It was thanks to these very plants that this balance emerged.
जो सघन रूप में रहने की स्थिति में है, ये सब चीजें संतुलित रही।
So in the state of the dense cover of such plants was this balance achieved. So this balance was achieved thanks to the dense cover of such plants on the surface of this earth. Something worth studying, I think, exactly how it works. But he's saying the forest cover helps to manage the alkalinity and acidity of the soil.
अब तो जंगल तो काट चुके, अब क्या किया जाए? अब तो उसके बारे में ध्वनि तो निकलता है, जंगल लगाया जाए।
But now we've already cut down our forests. So what should we do? And in that regard, there are these voices that emerge that say we must plant forests.
कौन लगाया जाए, कहाँ लगाया जाए, ये सब प्रश्न तो मनुष्य को विकराल रूप में बाधा कर ही रहा है।
But who should plant these? Where should they be planted? These are questions that are vikral roop क्या होता है? What is?
Huge,
Ah,
intense. Vikral roop is like Devika when it becomes big roop of any. Very huge, immense.
vikral. Not Virat is the same as vikral.
Correct, to an extent. And Vikral has also some ferociousness in it.
Oh,
Like some bit of anger has causes Vikral roop में प्रकट होना.
right, right. Monstrous, you could say.
Hmm.
So these questions are plaguing humans in a monstrous way, basically.
और कुछ कुछ करते भी हैं, कुछ सफलता भी होता होगा, कुछ निरर्थकता भी होता होगा, ये सब होते ही जा रही।
And they also do some things about it. Some of them must be successful as well as others must be meaningless or unsuccessful. These are all things that are ongoing.
कुछ सफलता भी होता होगा, कुछ निरर्थकता भी होता होगा, ये सब होते ही जा रही। तो ये सब पिचकाट हमारा ही भविष्य की क्षणों के लिए हम समस्या पैदा किया, वो समस्या को ढकने के लिए और एक समस्या पैदा करते हैं, और क्षणों के लिए हम समस्या, तो ये सब पिचकाट हमारा ही
पिछघाट
भविष्य की क्षणों के लिए हम समस्या पैदा किया, वो समस्या को ढकने के लिए और एक समस्या पैदा करते हैं, और एक समस्या को ढकने के लिए और एक समस्या पैदा करते हैं.
Yeah. So all of this, Tishghat, I'm guessing is something like this entire mishmash or like a khichdi. All of this is that we ourselves have created our own problems for
Vicious
our
cycle.
future.
Maybe it's a
Vicious
vicious
cycle.
cycle.
Yeah, that makes sense. So this vicious cycle that in which we create a problem for our future, and then to address that problem, we cover it with another problem, and then we cover it with another problem to solve the previous problem. We keep doing this. This is something I thought was well elaborated in *Sapien* by Harari. The same example, like similar example.
इस ढंग से समस्या ढकता नहीं.
And in this way, from one problem to another, we cannot cover problems up. We cannot cover one problem with another problem.
यदि ढक जाता तो बहुत कुछ अच्छा हो जाता. समस्या से समस्या ढकता नहीं. किसी एक छोटे,
If it were possible to cover it up, it would have led to a lot of goodness. But problems, one problem cannot cover up the previous problem.
कुछ अच्छा हो जाता. समस्या से समस्या ढकता नहीं. किसी एक छोटा सा भी समस्या को जितने भी बड़ा भारी समस्या से ढका जाए, ढकता नहीं.
No matter how small our difficulty or our problem is, and no matter how big the other problem is that we cover it up with, it is still not possible to cover it up.
सभी समस्या को जितने भी बड़ा भारी समस्या से ढका जाए, ढकता नहीं.
This is quite a weighty thing to say, no? Because we often feel like when we have a lot of small problems, the advice given is, but look, there are bigger problems out there. But this is even when we're trying to do it consciously. Abhi tak to the example was a more unconscious historical process that has taken place. But we even give this advice consciously to people, like, what are you getting so bothered about by your little problems when there are such much bigger problems out there? Or when there are bigger problems, I forget about my smaller issues. But actually what he's saying is that never actually really happens. Both of them are at play at the same time.
And I'm forgetting where I read this, but this is similar to even history that I was reading about Ireland's history at some point, and they said that it was a bigger problem, bigger war which came in outside. So the internal problem for that time got subsided. And but then later when the war was finished, that internal problem even lasted bigger than it was when, it got suppressed because of the outside war. So
Yeah.
They don't go. You can just go here and there, like your dhyan can go on one problem, another problem, but until it's solved, it stays there.
Yeah, yeah. This is also something when they say, na, what's the phrase? I've forgotten where, um, in the face of the outsider enemy, even the internal conflicts sort of resolve. Basically, you're united against an outside enemy. There's a saying for that, no? But even this is exactly that example, I suppose, that you're giving. That actually that also doesn't happen because those internal conflicts will burst forth in a very different way,
Correct.
in a vikral roop, maybe later on.
And that unity that comes is a temporary, but it is not solved. So you can't, like, it's a temporary solution. But the moment your bigger problem will go away, again, those small things starts mattering.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, they never stopped
Like
mattering.
in COVID time,
Yeah.
in COVID time, the country felt so united, no? Everyone running around, helping each other. Now it's all like caste, religion, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah,
No?
Yeah.
yeah. And it's worth thinking about actually. That within which of these was real? Was the unity real or were the other distinctions real?
Does it mean, I think it does to me now, I think that way, that we don't understand, we feel lost when there's no problem. So we
Yeah, we have no, maybe what you're
society
saying,
wants to keep on creating a problem to keep itself busy and occupied.
Yeah.
that is very true in the sense that we're not necessarily making problems. I don't know if people are also doing that consciously. I wouldn't be surprised. But finding problems, I feel like that is definitely true, where we're constantly trying to find problems to solve, uh,
Yeah,
because we
the
have
mind
no
wants that.
because we
The
have no
mind wants that.
anchoring on how to live basically normally without.
Correct. Correct.
So if you're constantly involved in some sort of problem solving, and of course all our problem solvings are also covering up one problem with another uh,
Yeah.
quick fix solution, which is basically another problem in the making.
Then how does this, what we've been talking, how does this relate with samadhan hona chahiye?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
No,
is something he's written in one place in one of his essays, and this is what he's talking about here also, that problems only lead to further problems. Problems do not lead to solutions. So no matter how much you analyze the problem, it will give you more and more details of the problem. It will not give you the solution. For the solution, for samadhan, for resolution, you must have understanding of the whole. No matter how much you scrutinize problems, it does not give you the answers or the whole solution. Are you getting it? He's basically saying that
huh.
samadhan does not come through problems. Samadhan, it is samad, it has to be a state. Samadhan is a state of understanding, and that state of understanding is able to address problems.
So is it equal to fulfillment? If there's fulfillment, you can deal with things and solve them. If you're not fulfilled, whatever decisions or actions you take will be from problems to a problem. Okay,
Yeah,
does it come to that?
exactly. Yeah, that's
So
exactly.
it's coming to this: egg first or chicken first?
Not really.
First, first I make myself fulfilled. Somehow
Yeah,
I'm
that is certainly
fulfilled.
first.
Then how? And you're not fulfilled. Say you're causing all
Yeah.
these problems. Now you want to solve the problem or you want to become fulfilled? How will you become fulfilled without solving the problem? How do you solve the problem? By being fulfilled.
No, because both of these, this is a state of doing, whether when we go about solving the problem or we go about becoming fulfilled. So that is something in
By
our,
understanding, by reading, by listening to this, or sitting by the gurus and listening to him, or whatever way, you are not
well,
fulfilled by that magic way, suppose.
not by any magic way. It is upon,
Like
so what he's saying is the process which he's
the
in,
process.
yeah, that he's indicating to again and again is through study, which is basically through reflection in the light. So there is a guided reflection. There is a light.
So when you are studying, sorry, that
Huh,
means when you are studying, you should go underground. Finish your study, then come out. Because till then, whatever, I'm not literally saying it, but in a way, because whatever you do while you're studying,
huh.
then it'll be from a bad space to another bad space.
No, No, but
unfulfilled place.
by your understanding, if we go underground while and study will take so much time, like
Yeah.
deep teaching.
You have no one to learn from and teach,
Yeah.
understand, learn no experiences coming up and
Then it's like meditation. You're very content when you're sitting on the couch. The moment you're out, 1 hour later, you're again the same person.
that is also there. But if you go underground, matlab by underground means just study, 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 do as little as possible so that you understand, become fulfilled. Then you
No,
come out.
no.
No, it's
That's
all,
not
all my problem.
not
Yeah.
how that's not how
Yeah.
it happens, because
No, no, I know.
there is no possible way to stop living, right? And in
Ah,
fact, it would be so odd if the destination is coexistence. That means the destination is togetherness, but the route towards it is of isolation. That makes zero sense to me, at least. How
yeah,
can
of course. I
isolation
know,
be
but
the route?
then how to be fulfilled first and then resolve problems. I mean, that little catch is there, no?
Even I'm thinking, just sharing like thought, even as a personality type, it happens for me, like that I feel a very hungry person of getting knowledge, resources. So something in me say, "Pehle let's uh, accumulate all the knowledge, and then you'll know, and then you can apply." So,
Hmm.
but that doesn't really happen. But I'm just sharing that, that's a state I feel in myself, which is like very greedy, that let's learn this also, let's get this also, let's get this also, and then now you know everything, now you can live happily, but that really doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't. Actually, there's an interesting thing on which it has not been discussed here, but we generally discuss it early on in the workshop, which is how does adhyan or any sort of growth happen in any individual at any point is based on these. I don't remember if we've discussed these terms: capacity, receptivity, and capability. I think receptivity and capability we've discussed, right? Patrata, yogyata, or kshamta. So we have this capacity.
Capacity to shouldn't come in because all Jeevans have equal capacity, no?
Exactly. Right, right.
Mm.
So that is we have the same capacity. Our capability isn't as yet that. So we have a certain capacity. So this is the capacity, and this is our receptivity, and this is our capability. So receptivity is how much we are able to take in right now, how much we are able to digest and understand, given some sort of inputs. And then our capability is how much are we able to live out. That our living out depends on whatever our level of understanding is just now, right? So if this is our human capacity, which is the same for all of us, all of our receptivity and capabilities are somewhere here, right? And what happens is, whatever, at any point we all have some receptivity and we always have some capability. And when we have whatever capability we have, we are constantly living on the basis of our capability. But when we start paying attention to our capabilities and what we are able to do, and that check, yeah, am I satisfied or not satisfied? In doing that very check and in doing that very attending to our actions, our receptivity increases. Because if we are satisfied, we will be very happy. If we are unsatisfied by anything, by our capabilities, then we will start wondering, we will start thinking about it, we will start seeking. And when our seeking starts, that is when our receptivity increases. So now that our receptivity has increased, whatever inputs emerge, we will be able to digest them better. So our receptivity has increased and our inputs get digested, our understanding increases. With the increase in our understanding, our capability increases. And with the increase in our capability, we live it out more, we do it more reflectively and more mindfully. And we see again, are we satisfied? Are we dissatisfied? If dissatisfied, with what? And in just asking those questions, our receptivity increases. So it goes up like this. So it happens in living that our receptivity and capabilities increase until they reach our full capacity. And I think so while we're in that process, what helps me is to know that, okay, I will not be able to present any complete solutions to anything, but I am in the process of getting better, right? And is that happening or not? Is my capability increasing or not? Is my ability to engage with people in a more just manner, in a more mutually fulfilling manner, increasing or improving or not? If not, then what is lacking? And in that doing so, it keeps increasing. So therefore it is, this process of study is also with people in our living, in our behavior, in our work.
got this one.
Okay.
And it seems that when your capacity, capability, receptivity is improving, then it seems as though the circumstances are improving.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really
Wherever
confusing. You never get a chance to take credit.
yeah. Right. So it's not even about the credit as long
That's
as
you
you feel
creating your
better.
future in a way, no?
Huh?
Like Abhi, we read that our actions create our future. So that's your circumstances are also improving because you created your future. So you can't take credit, Manjuji.
Thank you.
Yeah. Chalo, I must go because we have to reach in 50 minutes.
This time is so much nicer than that 6:30 time, no?
And actually, that's what I'm also
So
finding.
wide and so I'm feeling so
Alert.
different. That
Yeah.
time is like we dinner, we so I don't know. There's something. But anyway,
Less things to do, na? Less chores on the mind to do
uh,
after.
Yeah.
and there's
Something
still
about end of day.
there's a light. There are lights. It's still bright outside. I'm sitting outside. So much easier to focus.
Wow, it looks so nice. I want to step out also.
Yeah, I know.
Ah,
Mm.
Maybe we can think about time, Drishta.
yeah,
Manjuji.
yeah.
Yeah.
That time was also, I was also thinking I get dinner, like I'm trying to finish dinner
Ah,
but that does,
yeah.
if I'm on
And
that.
that comes really like I can never make it have my dinner before the class. So then it happens at 8. And I want
Yeah.
to finish. Anyway, I'll stay with the class whatever time.
Yes, of course.
Okay,
It should
let's
be class
discuss
at 9.
timing.
Just must, yeah. Okay. Have a good evening then. Bye.
Yes. Bye. See you.
Bye.